Welcome to Season 3 of Swiss Impact with Banerjis. I'm Sveta.
And I'm Ben.
The topic of Season 3 is Impact Investing, the new normal. Do you also want to do something meaningful for our planet and people, or invest with impact?
Then our amazing and powerful guests who are business owners, heads of financial institutions, thought leaders, political leaders, policymakers, investors, and experts.
Greetings, my name is Ash Bachori, and I'm the senior mentor of the POP or Protect Our Planet movement, and also a member of the board and secretary-treasurer of the World Sustainable Development Forum. Our primary goal is to mobilize the 1.8 billion youth of the world to urgently address the issue of climate change and take action to protect our planet.
This will inspire you to get engaged.
And in this season, we will challenge them even more to take actions towards sustainable development goals to enable paradigm shift in the financial sector and way of doing business.
Watch and learn how can we, as humans, transform into eco-financial system which would serve all people and the environment.
We aim for impact investment to become available to anyone, become truly mainstream.
See you every Friday at 3 p.m. Central European Time at Swiss Impact with Banerjee.
Act for your future. Sound.
Good morning, afternoon, and evening to everyone, and to our viewers from the Far East. Good night.
Welcome to week 2 of season 3 to the only impact investing show, Swiss Impact with Banerjis. And as you know, the topic of this season is the new normal of impact investing. So if you are the one who also want to do something meaningful and, of course, invest with impact, you are at the right place. Yeah.
So we are speaking of awareness of this topic by talking with global leaders, policymakers, experts, and academics on the topic of impact investment and impactful businesses.
Absolutely. And if you like our show, please subscribe at the YouTube channel below. Then you will not miss our future shows as well. And I also wanted to remind our viewers about the course, Profitable Business with Impact, which is coming in September 20 to 23rd of September. And you will learn how to create profitable business with impact, how to get resources, fundraising, and so on. And we are actually expanding. We had students from Switzerland, Nordics, India, Africa, and also East European countries. So if you are not yet have been there, of course, join us. Don't miss this opportunity. Everything is available on chamomile.ch or svetaandben.com.
Exactly.
Ben, do you have any story for today before we start?
Oh, yeah. I just spent 2 days in Geneva, but I'll tell it to you later on. But I also had
you a lot, everyone.
I had a couple of earlier programs and meetings. We spoke about the ESG rating, and I assume you all remember that I was a bit critical of the implementation of the way it is applied today.
I'm very critical on that ESG and impact. I always say you need to understand what is what. So please.
You don't even want to know what I learned in Geneva, but that's a different story. We will do it the next time. So I'll try to explain. I'm sure most of you know about the Dow Jones Sustainability Index. That is the DJSI from the North America, as it's one of the recently created market index, and it tracks firms to rate them on their products, product safety, greenhouse gas emission, board diversity, and other ESG platforms. But you would be surprised what kind of companies are on that index. Companies which manufacture cigarettes, like Philip Morris.
I'm not surprised of anything anymore in financial markets, But yeah, so tell us more. Why it is important and why are they there, those companies?
Exactly. So I just try to summarize it in 3 points. Firstly, you see that sustainability and impact has become such a strong trend. I mean, I hear it everywhere today, which the citizens and consumers have become aware of. So what are they doing? They're decreasing the bar to get into this list to a very low level. So that's the first problem we have. Secondly, many of these ESG ratings given by firms like MSCI and Sustainalytics do not look at the corporate responsibility, but they measure the degree to which a company's economic value is at risk due to ESG factor. For example, if a company is emitting huge amount of CO2, still it gets a decent ESG score as the polluting behavior of the company may not be threatening to the company's financial value.
There is always a way, there has been always a way in financial markets to get good ratings, right?
Exactly. And the third reason, which today will be the last one, would be the weight a firm or a company gives to its ESG factor. So companies, like my favorite, I think many people who know me know that I like Coca-Cola a lot. Coca-Cola, Pepsi, they get really high ESG ratings from the few of these largest rating firms. This is like the Pepsi-Cola, Coca-Cola, but mainly because they rank well on their corporate governance and greenhouse emission, while in fact they're producing and selling highly addictive products that are major cause.
I'm trying to get you off Coca-Cola because it's against my religion drinking it. So, but it is addictive indeed.
It is, and it is creating major sicknesses, which not only previously it was the Eastern, but now also the Western world is suffering, is diabetes, obesity, and etc. And of course, they're delicious. So companies, on the other hand, if you look at companies like Amazon, which is owned by Jeff Bezos, who personally, we had this discussion, remember, a couple of times ago, he doesn't like paying taxes. In fact, he even receives children allowance for his kids, gets a very high ESG score because of their greenhouse gas emission. Although the company by itself has a very deplorable labor practices and very predatory pricing.
Yes, so, that all sounds as usual depressing. So what is the conclusion of that?
Conclusion, I would say that the big funds, like the pension funds, large financial institutions, who are blindly trusting these ratings and investing in these companies, to please check on whether these companies are truly acting on ESG-friendly way, because otherwise these ratings are just diverting funds away from real businesses and companies we need to do to save our society and our environment.
Yes, it's as I usually say, understand what is ESG, what is impact investing, in order to take the right action, right? Doesn't matter if it's an investment or work for a company. So just check it in more depth to understand. Okay, but today we want to discuss two topics. And firstly, we usually talk to financial institutions and their investment policies, which create positive impact to our world. But today we want to talk to two SMEs who are really implementing what we all have been talking about. So two impactful businesses in circle economy, which is really on top of SDGs. I always say, if it's circle economy combined with SDGs, it's just great.
And I just want to add something to this. The whole world, we are in Switzerland. The whole world thinks Switzerland is a country of big banks and finance. Today, we have two guests as two entrepreneurs from Switzerland who are running two amazing companies as an example, which is really, truly example for impactful business. But Sweta, before we start, can you please at least for impact investment?
Well, I think I just give a very short definition to make it clear. So impact investments are investments into companies, businesses which create measurable social and environmental impact, of course, positive one. And besides that, of course, financial return, right? So we are talking about innovative businesses which do something good for our planet, and at the same time, they are profitable, so financially self-sustainable. But let's not make our guests waiting anymore and invite them to the studio.
Exactly.
Karin, Mirco, please join us here.
Hi.
Welcome, Karin.
Welcome.
Hi there.
Hi, Mirco.
Hello. Hi. Great to have you guys here.
So, let's introduce our. So I'll start with the ladies first. So welcome, Karin. So Karin Lanz is the founder of LANUR. She's an entrepreneur who is wholeheartedly subscribed herself to the circular economy. No Excuse LANUR is the first cosmetic label worldwide to develop cradle-to-cradle certified gold certified products exclusively. This certification has been awarded not only to the label, but as well to the entire product range, including all elements of packaging. I would say, wow, I really want to listen to this story.
Thank you so
And
much.
yes, she makes no compromises with her company, I heard. Oh, sorry, I interrupted you. So her products create no waste because the concept of waste is eliminated altogether, borrowing from nature and giving back to nature unharmed. So we will learn how Karin does it like that today.
Amazing.
And also makes a business out of it.
Absolutely. This is precondition. We are not talking about charities and philanthropy. But now let's talk about this gentleman, Mirco Egloff, with the company Loopi. So Mirco is the founder of circle economy startup Loopi AG. He doesn't like working a regular 9-to-5 job. Like us, he is very passionate about the environment and concerned about climate-relevant topics. And unlike us, he decided to pursue a master's degree in energy and environmental engineering. Why? Wow, I would love to study it myself, to do something with my hands as well. So, but specializing in new business models, innovation management, and circle economy, together with your 4 other friends, you founded Loopi in 2021, actually this year in March, but already have a lot of success. So Loopi had a successful crowdfunding campaign, and you are working at entering the market in early 2022 with a mission to move the families of today and tomorrow. And as a mother, I was really inspired right away by the idea, but you will tell us more in a minute.
Can I jump in?
Yes.
So, Karin, can you please introduce yourself and introduce your company and its products to our viewer?
Yes. Just again, there is a little echo. I'm a bit confused by the echo, but it's not mine, I guess.
We hear you perfectly.
We hear you perfectly.
Thank you.
That was an echo.
You said it all, Ben. I'm the founder of No Excuses LANUR, which is future-safe cosmetics. To put it very simply, is we borrow from nature and return all we don't need unharmed. It actually says everything. This is certified by Cradle to Cradle, which is the scientific proof that it is possible. And it includes the entire product line. It's going to be 3 products in 1 month. And it goes all the way through, not just the product itself, but also the packaging.
Mm-hmm. Sounds good. Now, I didn't say about
So somehow I didn't really hear what you said there. It kind of cut off, but I think it's the same what Karin Lanz had to do. So let me introduce myself. I'm Mirco Egloff, and like you mentioned, studied energy and environmental technologies. Until my master's degree, I specialized in business model innovation management and circular economy, which is where I also did my master thesis. And instead of working a 9-to-5 job, I just thought, hey, I'm doing my own impact startup. What are we doing? Well, imagine you're going to be a parent and you search for the best stroller in existence. And after up to 24 hours of research, you still manage to buy the wrong stroller. Seems stupid, but that happens to more than 50% of all parents, and a quarter of all parents therefore owns more than 3 different types of strollers. This leads to 90,000 strollers being disposed in Switzerland each year. To counteract that, we simply said, hey, we provide strollers as a service. Pick the stroller you currently need most and simply exchange when your needs change. For the service, we charge a monthly subscription fee from around 30 to 80 Swiss francs, depending on what you choose. And of course, for a system like that to work, we actually need strollers that are easily be repairable, refurbishable. And since nothing like that exists, we actually started to redesign strollers.
Mm-hmm. But do you have children? How did you come to this idea?
I don't have children myself. I don't have to be a doctor to know that I'm sick. No, I came up with the idea when I saw my cousin pushing around her child, and as soon as she took the baby out of the stroller, it fell down. And yeah, it just didn't look really stable nor sustainable. So I thought to myself, hey, one should make this more durable and better. And I thought then on the second thought, well, that's going to be more expensive. So why should companies actually invest more into a product for a one-time cell process. So there, the business case of the circular economy came to my mind with long-term amortization of the product in a service system.
Okay.
Sounds great.
And now going back to Karin. So, Karin, you chose a very controversial sector, the cosmetic sector. I mean, it has been controversies like animal testing to CO2 emission to deforestation. Do you keep an eye on all the aspects of it, and how do you do it? And especially because you're in such a chemical-based and brand market-driven sector, which is very essential. And sometimes I find ethics is far outside it. How do you manage this all? And what was your purpose for getting into this sector?
Well, managing it all is easy when you don't know it, how the others do it. Then you start from scratch and you have a good chance to do it totally differently. I mean, what you mentioned is chemistry, and chemistry is key. I call the products future safe because they are safe, and safe really goes down to the chemistry. Look, chemistry is something that the world uses. We have the photosynthesis. Without, we wouldn't be breathing. I mean, chemistry is a natural thing, but we started 100 years ago, maybe a little bit before that, with chemistry in a linear way, and we started to create effects that we cannot handle or we cannot reverse, and that's not okay. If we use chemistry today and we do it again circular, in order not to leave any bad side effects, we can have safe cosmetics. So this is one thing that we do entirely different. The second one is we take care longer for the entire life cycle of our products. I mean, the basics you mentioned is like fair trade, organic, animal testing, and all that stuff. I think there are competitors out there that highlight one or the other thing to do. For me, these are just things that go without saying. That's just, I wouldn't have started if I didn't go that way to do it correctly. But then I developed the product going over all the way safe chemistry in the product as well as in the packaging. I can show it to you. It looks like this. And then I take it even further, because after you use it, you have a packaging that will be left over. And I'm going to take that back. I'm going to take care of the product until the very end. So it's circular by design, starting at A and going completely back to A. I can send the material into technical circles almost infinitely. And then if this is over and I don't have to add new material to it, I can just redo it. I can also go back into soil, meaning converting it into soil. That's a special thing, because we know that things are biodegradable, and everybody keeps asking me, oh, how fast will it biodegrade? I'm like, well, that's a strange question, because wouldn't it be better to ask, what does it become? Which is not part of the law. If you biodegrade something by law, it has to be in a certain size after a certain time. But nobody asks if it's going to be soil or if it's going to be microplastic. Yeah. I learned a lot. I've been developing for 4 years and only just launched the first product, and now coming out with 2 more facial creams, but all consistent and thought through until the last detail. So, I mean, animal testing, we just don't even have to touch the topic, actually.
Perfect. Yeah. You know, as a woman, I think I don't put a lot of makeup on my face just to underline where my eyes are. You know, it's very important for me also, like, even though I don't buy so much stuff, still it's again, you produce some waste with any cosmetics you're buying, right? And imagine how many women we have on this planet which are buying little stuff, but little stuff become a huge amount of waste, right? And
it's more than that, because we have the raw materials that come from somewhere, so we keep changing whole supply chains. I mean, what I waste on little cans, that's one thing, but I mean, it has a huge effect in the end. You know, when you go all the way down, it's turning things and little stones everywhere, and it's amazing what you can change, which is the little facial.
Mirco, now back to you, because you are speaking to the international audience now. You know, millions of people are watching us. Are you worried speaking about your amazing idea? And aren't you afraid that some big producers might steal it and copy it and implement? What are your thoughts about it?
Absolutely not. I think a great idea doesn't make a great company. And it seems like the idea has been around since 2006. Actually, it was the first research paper where a major manufacturer looked into the possibility and just found out, hey, our manufacturing is just not really focused on product service system. Shall we leave it be? And it stayed like this for 15 years. And like Karin mentioned, it needs someone who has completely no idea of the topics to actually make a change, which is basically me. And in circular economy, we want more collaboration and less competition. So if anyone out there actually wants to do another stroller service, hey, let's go in touch and go international as fast as possible.
It's perfect. I also think it's about collaboration, especially if we want to achieve SDGs, and anyone, you know, who wants to contribute. We also made a lot of collaborations instead of competitions with other companies. I truly believe what you're saying. Another question. It seems that your service and products, they're absolutely clear, right? The stroller, not recyclable, no waste, and it's subscription based. When you don't need it, you bring it back. So why hasn't anyone worked at this before like you did now? Like, what was the challenge, you think? Why didn't it happen before?
I think to think in a circular economy way, especially in form of a product service system, needs a completely different perspective. Now, if you have been manufacturing strollers for the past 20 years, you're used to optimize production processes. How can I make products X cheaper to sell it for a higher margin? And that's just completely the opposite of what we actually do in circular design. So basically, that perspective is just too unknown for current linear businesses out there.
Okay. And I'll then jump back to Karin. So Karin, you are in cosmetic business, which is really, I mean, I'm a layman, I have no expertise on this, but I know that it's a gigantically big market. Can you share some numbers? The size of the market, the part of the market you are focusing on. So what is the few numbers, at least for the viewers to know? Are we talking about few million euros, few billion euros?
I mean, we are focusing actually on the growth of the clean beauty sector, not the entire cosmetic market, but just the clean beauty keeps growing. In Germany, this is
what is clean beauty sector?
I mean, clean beauty, this is all natural cosmetics, almost natural cosmetics. It's all that clean lifestyle beauty sector. I mean,
wow.
Another
He's
serious
also beauty, you know, Karin, but he doesn't apply those cosmetics.
She's being sarcastic.
You don't need it, Ben. You know, you're such a natural, forget it, you know. But this sector, I mean, is related to health is beauty, beauty is health. People understand, you know, that you have to look a bit deeper, and the growth of that, because there is one wing that is already in traditional classical natural cosmetics. I guess it's not my first target. But the people that have used normal cosmetics and now getting alert, now thinking of something else, they are my target market, for sure, to focus on the switchers. And this growth is 10% of 1.2 billion only in Germany annually. And the entire green beauty, it's horrible words, you know. Okay, the clean beauty sector is supposed to be about $22 billion in 2024. I mean, and keeps growing constantly. Globally, 6%, in Germany, 10% annually. That's where I'm going to find my niche.
I just wanted to share a short story. My great-grandmother, she passed away at an age which is in Europe generally unheard of. She,
Oh.
she, that's a secret. She never ever used any cosmetics, anything. She used to read without glasses. She had all her teeth while her age was above 100. She had all her hair, and she was reading 3-4 languages. But the problem is soap, cream, everything she used. She made it herself. And unfortunately, she never told anybody how she did it till she passed away. And she had a baby skin. So, I mean, her skin was so beautiful and so smooth. Even after the age of 100, it was like a baby skin. And she somehow created her own cream and own soap.
Yeah.
So and I don't know how she did it.
Maybe if you would be a woman, she would have shared it with you, no? But
Exactly. But then, because this needs so much research, and in your case, especially you're working with chemical industry, everything, it needs research, you need production, you need finance. How are you managing it till now?
Out of my pocket. I just went all in. If you want to do things different, then you have to just go for it. Nobody would, I mean, I didn't wait for somebody to go for it. So I did it myself. And this is where I am at right now. I've been very lucky and fortunate to manage. Also because the whole research part, then after a while, I started to get this, I mean, we're talking about circular economy, we're talking exactly about these partnerships. I would not be here and self-financed to that point if I hadn't found partners that were absolutely interested in pushing that thing forward, in getting this paradigm shift, in getting people to know, and in having like a lighthouse project in cosmetics industry to do it differently. So I didn't have to set up a whole, research company to do it. So I just started it, I pushed it, but then also things started to come back, and I'm very lucky I didn't have to develop the material of the packaging, but I'm the first one to use it as a packaging. So I invested in that, and yeah, it all came together. And it's growing, it's constantly growing. This what Mirco also mentioned, this collaborations, it's key, it's super important, and it's the anti-egoistic economics, and it's not less profitable. That's the funny thing, and it's not less efficient. You know, I thought the mistake in the linear economy was to focus only on efficiency, but what they did was process optimizing. The point is, once you spin efficiency up to the very end, you will end up in a circular economy, because it doesn't make sense to waste material. It doesn't make sense to waste knowledge. It doesn't make sense to waste anything, energy. It should all have multiple purposes. Yeah. And then that's where you are. Then you are in circular economy by heart. That's what I am.
Great, Karin. Actually, it was my question, because not everyone knows what the circular economy. So I want to ask Mirco, how do you understand circular economy, and explain?
Can I jump in just for a sec, Karin? Somebody from the audience asked, where can they buy your product, and how can they find the product? This your clean beauty product.
Yeah,
the website at the moment is LANUR.Swiss. If you are interested, it's just a landing page, and we're going retail in Germany. In Switzerland, sorry, in middle of October. We start to sell in retail.
Very soon.
But we're also working on the websites and platforms, and apologize that I'm not quite there. But if you are somewhere in the world at this stage, I'll take everything to send it to you.
Okay.
And by the way, someone from the audience also wrote that Ayurvedic culture might still have the formula of your grandmother, so as they are still having special natural creams, which keeps you alive more than 100 years.
And it's interesting when you go this completely natural way. That's what you do. You go back to old household remedies. That's how I got in touch to do what I do. I have professional people to do it now, because I'm not going to do it in my kitchen and stir it myself. But that's the basic, and that's where it really, when you go back and have a safe chemistry, an emulsion is a mix between fat and water, and to do that, I mean, to keep that together, that's chemistry. And I know your grandmother knew it, and that's exactly the way we use it.
I was expecting that your research center is your great grandmother and mother and grandmother.
You know how we did it? You take like berries or cucumber and you put it on your face, when you are cooking, and this keeps your skin very nice.
So that's your secret.
That's the only point that I wanted to have. The cosmetic line was it needed also to be user-friendly. So I want exactly that thing, but I want it a bit more easy, because if I put the carrot in my face, I have a mess in the kitchen everywhere. I've tried that. I have a Korean friend that showed me everything about skincare and how to do it. I want exactly that, but give it to me a bit more simple with super easy routine, and I'm in.
Okay, Mirco, now please tell us, how do you understand circle economy in your context as well?
So in comparison with the other economy, the linear economy, basically linear economy just take materials, make something out of these materials, consume the product, and then throw it away. So make consumption waste. And in the circular economy, we simply take the materials, we make a product that is optimized for the use period, that is able to be reused, refurbished, and or remanufactured if necessary. And if not else possible, of course, the recycling of the materials is somehow secured, either in the business model or just because it's easily compostable or whatever.
Let's go one point deeper, especially for those in our audience who are already aware of the integrities of circular way of thinking. So what comes first, a circular business model or circular design? And what is this circular design at all, for those who don't know?
So circular business models, or especially product service system, really struggle with non-circular products, or products that were designed for one-time use and then disposal. Simple example from my world. So if, for example, the brake of my stroller breaks, I have to throw away the whole stroller, which is a shame, because actually only the brake is destroyed. And if we would be able to repair it, we could use it for a longer period. So now,
I mean, some you can repair, but very expensive in Switzerland, to repair. Sometimes it's almost the same price as a stroller.
Exactly. So then, of course, the normal consumer would buy a new stroller, which is not the end goal, because we need to save all the resources that went into a product. And all these resources are not only materials, but it's also time and energy that went into building said product. And of course, the earth that used energy to actually form all these different materials. Exactly. So basically, due to the rivets, it's then super expensive to actually repair a product. So in circular design, we basically try to balance various topics from the business model and solve it at the same time. So, for example, we at Loopi, we differentiate between different design principles. Design for emotional attachment, which is like, how do you as a person interact with the product, and how can we make the product that you interact with it more carefully so we prolong the lifetime. Second one would be design for reversal. Hey, what material do I use for my cosmetic packaging? Can it be transformed to dirt, or will it end up as microplastic? Where do I source it? Is there a waste stream that I can transform into a new material stream? Then design for longevity. I said, you don't have to repair something that never breaks. So like this planned obsolescence, if it exists, we simply leave it away. We make the product as durable as possible because we want to amortize our product over a huge lifetime. Then design for repair and service. If something breaks, it can be made together with rivets that you cannot open anymore. Because if you cannot open it anymore, you have to destroy it to make it new. Costs a lot, you mentioned it before. And in the end, of course, design for modularity. Try to separate different functions so you can easily use the functions that are still intact and only replace a function that you really need to repair.
I just want to share some thoughts I had on circular economy yesterday night. So we humans are designed also as a circular economy. You know, we come to the earth, we die, and it's like it's a circle. Millions of people were here, and all of them are gone. The same with animals. Just somehow we are such animal that during our lives we mess up around. No other animals are doing that. So I'm really happy that this concept of circular economy also for humans now is coming.
I mean, it was there. It has not been gone for long. I mean, it used to be a circular because we are one of the animals too.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
in order of this efficiency that we created during the manufacturing processes in the past 2 centuries, we left out the circle. We started a linear system, and it's not that old. And I also find that when I talk to people about circularity, circular economy, and I believe I am so circular. This is now, after 4 years, I can't even think differently anymore. And it's just so natural. And when I go and look at some suppliers, you know, I'm a person that steps into places, even if it's not really appropriate. I mean, by certification, it's all saved by cradle to cradle. They do that. This is the legal way. But I am a person, and I'm very personal. So it happens that I tap into places that work with me, and then I point out things. I see things, and I see boxes standing around. I ask myself, why is this coming out of that machine, and why is it not going there? So I'm just so circular already, but it's just going back to the roots. It's what we all are. And it's not that we are wrong. We are not the ones having this footprint. We just we ran on a wrong system. And what I said before, it's not less efficient. It's false. The circularity in the end is the super efficiency. You know, because
absolutely. Thanks for that input, and discussion is always welcome at our TV show. But now let's go to the finance part, because it is about impact investment, right? So I'm very interested, Mirco, how do you finance your business? We've heard from Karin, it's out of their own pocket at the moment. How is it on your side?
Yeah, for us, it's also mainly financed from our own pocket at the moment. So the 3Fs, we had a very good angel investor that supports us as well. And in June, we actually finished a successful crowdfunding. So it has been actually carried from the community as well that supports the vision of Loopi and already paid before we actually went to the market, which we think is a great sign to move forward. And let's see where it takes us. We can imagine that early next year or in the half of next year, we will start a financial route to increase our potential for growth in Switzerland and probably over the boundaries of this country as well.
And whom are you looking for at the moment? Maybe some partners, franchise partners, whatever. Just, you know, our audience is quite wide. Maybe someone will hear you and knock to your door.
So basically, for Loopi, we want to implement the whole range of children products into our service. So basically, if you are an innovative manufacturer, be it only a supplier of a highly innovative material, please get in touch with me. We think that we will redesign a lot more different products together with big manufacturers. And yeah, let's open up and create real impact together. And if you need help redesigning your product, we have a tool developed that we can use to check if your product is actually ready for circular economy. And we would be happy to do that evaluation for you.
Sounds great.
Perfect. So now I'll go back to little bit sticky topic, Karin. So in in every product you have the logistics. For example, we are vegetarians. At least she is a hardcore vegetarian. I try to be vegetarian, but Svetlana often eats quinoa or tropical fruits or vegetables.
And you are saying it on the TV. Thank you.
But we often do not realize the CO2 emission of transporting these products from Central America to here, from Asia to here, from Africa to here. And I think same must be valid also for your products. So how do you manage, or are you compensating in some way if you need raw materials or products which are not from here local, but which is coming from far away?
I had to learn a lot. I started off, I wanted to do it local. of course, this is the first that occurred to me, just to avoid transportation. And I cannot solve all the problems of the world, I found out too. So, but then what I ended up having was huge difficulties. If I source it here, I would have to redo systems. And I would have to become a politician first, gain my followers, start to change things, and by 2050, I guess I would start developing a product. So I really, really suffered from what I found. Not possible, not able to get through to have it in this pure quality that I needed. A certain amounts are needed, and everything needs to be correct. So I cannot farm from, I mean, you would not farm something from the desert and ship the water there, you know, it wouldn't make sense. So first of all, go there where you have it, where it's naturally correct to do so, if you need the product. Oh, and already you have a transportation, right? Then you discover ingredients. I after the first ingredients, I widened it up. I wanted to make a cream. So the first cream we did with local products was like, I imagine food in the medieval, like not very tasty, and so I I'm sorry, it was knocking on my door.
Namaste.
And put the sign that they shouldn't do it. Oh my God. Well, so I had to, I just speed that up. Oh my God, I'm turning red. It didn't taste very well. So I imagine when Marco Polo discovered the East, many flavors were added to what we ate, and it made it just really better. In order to have this modern line of cosmetics, there are better ingredients out there to take if you do it right. Or you can cheat by bad chemistry. That's also possible. I could go the other way and sneak in a bit of chemistry, making it a bit like this and like that. No, but there are the raw materials on the globe that really have the effect. They're pure and they're sourced nicely, but then you have to ship them. And I really hope that we are soon on solar energy and we can avoid emissions. And I don't believe in paying for that in exchange. Because it's not the system. I am honest about it. I know it. We have it. The problem needs to be solved. But just to shift it to another place, it's not the right way. It's not going to go away.
Yeah. I just wanted to add to it. If you have time, you should watch one of our programs in the past with the president of Mauritius. She's a biodiversity scientist. And
Okay.
a lot of things she mentioned is that local, because of our cash crop idea, we are destroying the local plants, but often the local plants are amazingly good. But there was a report, I think a week or two ago, that we as humans can consume 20% of the plants which exist on Earth, and we consume only 200 species of it.
Yeah.
200 of it. So that means nearly 99% we are not even touching them. So nature does have the solution. Even local nature does have the solutions which we are completely unaware of or we are completely neglecting. So maybe that may be one of the sources where you can look into.
Well, in the middle of Europe might not be the same like in Mauritius, but yes, it depends a little bit what temperatures you have.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're right, absolutely.
Karin, but then do you have any specific criteria which you put on your suppliers and producers, or do they follow it voluntarily, or like do you say, if you don't do that, I will not buy from you? So how does it happening in the practice?
Or you can compensate. For example, you say, okay, if you send it, then you have to compensate by doing something positive. So do you do that?
No, I mean, compensation for me doesn't work. We do it right or we don't do it, or we mention that this is something that we will have to change. But it goes through cradle to cradle, which certifies all the ingredients through. So they already have to have an organic background. I mean, they have to be safe. It all has to be checked anyways through them. But then when you go on this way, you start to, I said, personally, I like to meet people personally, and I already have some suppliers that are totally on the same path. They take care of the whole supply chain. I know people that are harvesting in Austria something that I need, and I know the field where it comes from. And I know that you will ask that, and I'm going there right now. Of course, it's not scalable endlessly. And these places where I get the things from, it takes a lot of time to really do it right in terms of ecological, I mean, also the fair trade, that's also a part, we should not forget it. It's not so easy to get the source that is really clean. And I mean, you mentioned it in the intro, how it looks what companies do in order to look better and certain. I'm not going anywhere close to that. It's really, really checked all the way through. It's huge work that is behind that. I'm 4 years later now. I can't believe it myself. And and then once I have it, I will grow only the possible ways, you know. So I have enough material to scale and to supply Switzerland, I guess, Austria, and then we will have to check. But then I want to switch the system onto an abonnement system. I want people to commit to this. Then I guarantee them to get it next year. And then knowing my numbers, I can also try to open new sources, but they have to be the same quality. And if it's not working, it's not working. Then I can agree to the ones that have the abonnements to get it. And I have to find solutions. And then I can open a new window and say, now I can take more customers. That's okay. But we will run an abonnement system after a while, after the first, when I see that we reach the limit of what we can deliver, then we have to do so. I mean, we lost one harvest of an oil, apricot kernel oil, because in the drying process something was going wrong, and it's Demeter certified. It's the highest standard for agriculture that I can think of, because it's all biodiversity, and you know, it's like great, but things can go wrong. And yes, then I have to take it, because I can't just switch and say, oh, this time we just take a little other. No, it's not going to happen. So I have to also be very wise about this and work safe and have a new model and going with abonnements, so I can secure both.
And there are always solutions, as you mentioned, you know, there are always solutions to find. But I want to talk about an issue which is actually here in Switzerland and in Europe, right? So many people are very proud of clean air, water, green surroundings, like in Switzerland. And they look down at places which don't have it. But we have it, because a lot of our consumption products, which are produced and then not used anymore, they are brought abroad, right? So we have exported our dirty production, businesses, our waste, and so our dangerous wastes are brought to Africa and Asia. And most of consumption products are also produced in countries and regions which do not follow strict environmental and social rules or labor laws as we have it here, right? So the product line, like you, Mirco, are in now is facing around the same. So how do you deal with that? Do you consider this in your vision? How do you mitigate it, you know? So what is happening with the strollers, the old ones then?
So basically, that's a difficult topic. Since our product is not really ready yet, we have to rely on manufacturers. So basically, we have to rely on manufacturers that want to stay responsible for their product. Staying responsible for their product means we don't buy anything from our suppliers. We provide the product solely in a revenue share model together with the company. Like that, we have the opportunity to collaborate together and improve the products to be more circular and to profit long term together. And for ourselves, we can definitely choose what products or what suppliers of materials we want to use, and therefore can also check basically what impact we will have, like Karin did it for her whole product, right?
And so if I understand you correctly, Loopi provides a service, your product as a service, right? And do you think it's necessary maybe also to adjust the product design And if yes, what would be the motivation of the stroller producers to cooperate as you are eating into their sales?
So yes, definitely. Long term, it's absolutely necessary to change product design, just because you need to know where do the materials come from, how is the production of these materials, what are the toxins that are used, especially if it's getting a connection to your child. You want to have completely toxin-free materials that are hopefully safe for the technical or the biological circle. So you need to be able to control everything, including repair and refurbishment. And with today's strollers, that's not possible. So yes, we need to redesign the stroller just based on if it breaks, we need to take it apart. And today that's not possible. I don't think we're eating into a margin of any large manufacturer that would want to collaborate with us. We're working together in a revenue share model. If we keep increasing the lifetime of the product, we will profit long term a lot more than they would do in a one-time sale, month by month and year by year. Of course, if we think about resource consumption in the future, which is kind of quadrupling or even more until the end of this century, resources will be a lot more expensive. So if you are actually in control of your resources and your product, you can always take these resources back into your manufacturing process, which will be a huge benefit for manufacturers all over the world long term. And that's something they can only gain in a collaboration with a company like Loopi, or what Karin actually also does.
Exactly. I mean, we are running out of time, so I would just like to finish with two questions to both of you. One is, what are the issues both of you foresee and you face
to make your business $1 million or $1 billion business, you mean?
Exactly. So let's start with Karin.
Very briefly, guys.
Well, when that is going to happen? What are you asking?
No, what is the foresee? What are the issues you are foreseeing? Financial issues or supply management issues, resource issues, labor issues?
I think the biggest issue that I am facing is the education of people, because I think the biggest threat is that I'm too early, that people don't understand what circular means, and that this is a paradigm shift. And if I'm too early, then I'm out. If people get it, it's fine. I'm not so. So we will see then step by step from country to country, which is, solving problems is what started 4 years ago. It's what I do every day. So if you ask me what are the problems, it's a funny question to me. I'm solving constantly problems here. I'm getting new materials in the market. I am even to get my product in the market. They haven't heard of the certification. They have no idea. I mean, it's like nobody has heard of anything I'm doing. So it's like problem by problem. But it's fun. It's great fun.
That's the part of being an entrepreneur. And Mirco, for you?
I can only sign what Karin just said. It's pretty similar for us. People only think about what they immediately pay out of their pocket, right? That's something they compare with, for example, a product services. If the product service is more expensive over the span of 3 years, then they're like, I could have bought a new stroller. But the hidden cost they don't really think about, and that's just a lack of education what it actually means to buy a new product. So store it at your home, the time it takes you to research, the time it takes you to repair and resell, and of course the environmental cost no one is paying today.
Guys, and last but not least, we usually ask our guests to share or to say to our audience, call to action, a message from you. So what should they do? What would you say in your context?
And they're around the world.
You want to start Banerjee first?
No, go first.
No, please, you do.
I just, all I can think of is collaborate, connect, talk, spread the word, and go circular, give it a chance. And if you want, even call to action, connect me, find me on LinkedIn, connect, let's talk about it. I'm never tired to talk about it, and let's get things moving. Let's become circular, and let's borrow and not waste anymore.
Beautifully said. I want to directly copy paste what Karin said.
That
Super
was
great
easy.
words. It's maybe also collaborate and really, if you buy something, you have a power. Use that power. If you are a company and you can decide where you're supplying your whatever, choose responsibly. Don't only look at the short-term goals, but plan long-term. Change your business models and be a bit more like Karin.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
very,
you
very
both.
much.
Thank you so much for joining us
Yeah,
today.
it was
Thank you
both
for
of you are inspiring. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you too.
And don't forget that both of you get a honorary membership on Chamomile to register your project. So if you're not yet a member, just register, let me know, and we will upgrade it to a business so you can create more impact in the world.
Thank you so much, you two.
Okay.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. So,
Welcome to season 3.
something you're not.
Not yet completely over. We wanted still to say what's going to be next week, right?
Yes.
To
So
our viewers.
So this finishes our show, the second episode of season 3. And if you like it, please remember to subscribe to the YouTube channel Swiss Impact.
And our course, end of September, just a reminder, 20, 21st, and 23rd of September, all available on chamomile.ch as well. Thanks for watching us.
Exactly.
Act for your future.
Thank you.
Welcome to season 3 of Swiss Impact with Banerjis. I'm Sveta.
And I'm Ben.
The topic of season 3 is Impact Investing, the new normal. Do you also want to do something meaningful for our planet and people, or invest with impact?
Then our amazing and powerful guests who are business owners, heads of financial institutions, thought leaders, political leaders, policymakers, investors, and experts.
Greetings, my name is Ash Bachori, and I'm the senior mentor of the POP or Protect Our Planet movement, and also a member of the board and secretary-treasurer of the World Sustainable Development Forum. Our primary goal is to mobilize the 1.8 billion youth of the world to urgently address the issue of climate change and take action to protect our planet.
This will inspire you to get engaged.
And in this season, we will challenge them even more to take actions towards sustainable development goals to enable paradigm shift in the financial sector and way of doing business.
Watch and learn how can we, as humans, transform into eco-financial system which would serve all people and the environment.
We aim for impact investment to become available to anyone, become truly mainstream.
See you every Friday at 3 p.m. Central European Time at Swiss Impact with Banerjee.
Act for your future.